Tomoko was founded 10 years ago.
Yep.
And it was, actually I pitched the concept to Nicholas Zenström, who founded Skype.
Yep.
And I said to him, look what Europe needs is entrepreneurs, investing in entrepreneurs. You're the best guy to do this. And he had just sold Skype, I quit my job, and he said, no, don't quit your job. And I was like, look, I'm going to do this with you or somebody else. And he had the same idea, to be honest. He was thinking about it because he had issues raising money for his, when he was, building Skype and all the other companies. And so he saw that there was a real issue, and what needed to happen here was a different way, a different approach for VCs to help out companies, and particularly here in Europe, where we're actually pretty decentralized. It's not like the Valley where everybody is in one single place. You have Helsinki, you have Stockholm, you have Berlin, you have London, and we need to be able to work on that knowledge transfer. So we have focused a lot of our efforts in terms of bringing together a team that have done it, been there, and taking companies to the next stage. So within our team of investors and advisors, we have founders of 5 companies that have reached $1 billion valuation. We also have operational.
How many companies you have altogether?
Altogether, we have 75 companies in our fund. We have also operational leaders who were involved in successful companies that helped out with recruiting or global scaling or marketing. And we're talking about companies like Skype, like Uber, like Spotify, and Google, for example, too. So our head of talent is a guy who was number 70 of Google in Europe. And he grew it up to, when he was there, they ended up becoming 3,000 people. He then went on to become head of talent at Skype, and then he's helped our portfolio companies like here in Helsinki, Supercell, with their scaling. So we believe that the real value is when entrepreneurs, investing in entrepreneurs, that you get more than money, you get experience, knowledge. It helps those entrepreneurs accelerate their growth. They know what the benchmarks are in terms of best in class in terms of building their businesses. Most of us are in London. We like to be centralized, but we're on the road the whole time. But we have people in across Europe. But in the Nordics, one in Sweden, people in Switzerland as well. So, but we're constantly on the road. In terms of people, nationalities, we have, Kelly is Chinese, who's based in China. Shin is Japanese. By the way, Kelly helps our companies expand into China. We have this whole global market development. Okay. Shin, who's based in Japan, helps companies expand into.
And they are actually Japan. Physically there.
They're very Japanese, very Chinese.
Yeah.
We have Carlos in Brazil. He's Brazilian, and Brazil is really the entry point for Latin America.
Yeah.
So we help out with that type of expansion as well. We think that this is sort of the third hub in Europe. So we take sort of Stockholm and Helsinki together. We think London already is about 50% of venture capital goes into London.
Yeah.
That's just a fact. About 15% goes into Berlin. Yeah. And then, Stockholm is about 10 to 11%, and Helsinki is a bit smaller. Mm-hmm. But we think this is a really important hub because we might not produce the quantity of companies, but the quality that pops up, that comes through, is very good.
Yeah, I agree.
The mindset is also global, and they're not happy about being best in Finland. They want to be best in the world. Actually, even Europe is not on the charts. It's like, how do I build a global business? Yep. And we like that mindset. We think that's a great mindset, and they're good at product, and they're good engineers.
Yeah, that's it.
We have a constant review. So every week we divide ourselves into teams. So we look at the region every week. We look at the companies that are coming up. We come here and meet people, verify what we've seen, or get new leads. So we're always excited to meet new companies, and to be honest, it's constant preparing, it's constant looking. Yep. Being in our business.
That's your job.
That's our job, and it's and I think. We try our best to make it as smooth as possible, but we're going through a lot of information all the time, and it's about coverage. It's about seeing everything.
Cool. Last question. How do you see Arctic15? Have you been here before?
I have. I was here last year.
Yeah.
To be honest, I was here as well. Probably one of the first slush events.
Okay.
So I remember when there was hardly anybody in the room, and there were crates. are lying around. So this place, I think, has a very nice vibe to it.
Yeah,
the Cable
it is.
Factory here, and I love to come here, and I love to see how all of these conferences are expanding, getting stronger, getting better. I like Arctic15 because it's focused on meetings, so getting investors and entrepreneurs to meet, and I think that's critical for the ecosystem.